After authenticating, you are presented with the launcher screen. The launcher screen here has tiles that are representative of endpoints. Endpoints are how you access applications in buildings, access applications running on edge nodes, and accessing applications that are potentially in cloud-hosted solutions. We've got two sites connected here, Neeve office in White Plains, office in Montana. I'm going to walk you through the connections for the Montana location. I've got 3 endpoints connected, a TCP connection. This is to allow for Niagara Workbench, so I can use Niagara Workbench natively on my machine to do everything I want to do. As far as programming in Niagara, I've also have an endpoint that gets me to an HTTPS connection to access graphics and remote desktop. Access the web graphics, I simply click on the tile, a new tab in my browser opens up, and I am logging in to the Niagara Supervisor. I can also remote desktop into this machine. This is a Windows machine with remote desktop setup. I click on that tile. I can enter in Windows credentials here, or I've previously stored credentials, so now I don't have to share my Windows credentials. I click continue with stored credentials, and I am presented in a new tab in the browser with a remote desktop session. You can see I've got Niagara Workbench open on this connection. To access OT systems with native applications running on your PC or laptop, something like Niagara Workbench, which you can see here is running on this machine, in Neeve, we use what are called TCP connections. This is providing a connection from your machine to the underlying networks or systems in the building so you can natively use these applications. To utilize it, you can click on the icon here. You are then prompted to download an agent. There are some details about the agent that are needed for this connection. The agent, for me, is already on my machine. You can see it here. I click on it. I open it up. I type in my email address. I need to type in this realm, which can be found there. So I'm going to type that in. I click Next. I've already authenticated, so it's going through that authentication process. Slide this over here. It's getting up, it's running. It's now up and running. I click on the Settings tab in the agent. Here I can select the site that I want to connect to. This is the site that I've got connected. It's now actively making a network connection between my machine and the network that the Niagara system's on. It's ready to use. I can now click on Workbench and natively connect to the platform or station here. I click on platform. I'm presented with my login for it. It opens up. I connect to the station. I can do that as well. And now you can easily see how you can natively work on your sites through native tools like Niagara Workbench. The launcher also has other views. There's a list view and a hierarchy view. The hierarchy view comes in handy when you've got lots of sites connected. It's also used for permissioning. On the left side of the screen is access to other parts of the application. This is for workflows. I'll show you that. This is how we get back to the home screen of the launcher. We also have audit and access logs access here. We can see everything that's happened through the platform, audit-wise and access-wise. It's also very easy to search for that. On the gear icon, this is where we can manage nodes. We can see what's available. We can add nodes from here. We can dig in deeper into the nodes on the details of what serial numbers are. It's got a visual representation of what the networks are connected to it, the internet connection. If this was an LTE node, you would see the signal strength, carrier information. We can see what networks are connected to it. It's MAC table. It also has a comprehensive audit log. Everything can be edited through the gear icon. We then can edit and configure endpoints through this as well. Edit and configure users, configure networks, and configure our hierarchy. You can also access your profile and our online help documents. We, as a managed provider, provide 24/7 support. You can have access to our support team here through the help icon. Now I'm going to show you what it takes to onboard a new node. On the top icon on the left is workflows, setup, configure, remote access. We are going to get a node. We need to connect it to the internet, connect it to an underlying system network, and then configure endpoints for remote access. Let's begin. First, we need to select a site the node is going to be installed at. I've got our San Francisco office. I need to know the node serial number. Each one has a unique serial number. I know this one's available. Click Next. And now it says plug LAN B into the node into the internet. Click Next, and it'll validate it has an active internet connection. Node's validated, it's online. This is the IP address it's using. Click Next. Next step, plug LAN A into the system network. This could be the BMS network, could be directly into a Jace or a primary controller, anything on the OT. Click Next, and now we got to configure LAN A. So you need to know something about the network you're connecting to. We're connecting to a BMS network. I know it's using static IPs, so I'll select that. I know this is an available IP that I can use. I can set it to connect to an IP address or just everything on the WAN. I've got weather service running on a Niagara station here. It needs to get out to the internet. Make it available through Remote Access Agent. This is what we would be using for our Niagara Workbench connection. Specify what ports I want to use. I only need 4911 and 5011 for platform and station. This does require another available IP address. I don't have any VLANs it's connecting to, and I need to set its cloud destination, which typically only has one. Click Add. Now click Next. Now it's validating, assigning the IP address. IP address has been validated. Now click Next, and scanning the network, looking for IP addresses and open ports on those IP addresses. That'll be used for potential endpoint connections. Scan's complete. It found the Niagara supervisor, the only thing on this demo network. I'm going to rename this just for convenience to the supervisor. It also found 3 endpoints available or ports that are open. Port 80, we don't want to use that. Throw that in the trash. It's not the secure port for graphics. It has a remote desktop option at that. I can enable file transfer. I can enable authentication to store my credentials. I'm just going to rename it here to make it easy. Decipher. I've got web graphics on HTTPS. I'm going to change that name to web graphics. Click Save. Check the box next to it. Click Next, and it is configuring everything, wants me to confirm it, click Confirm. And now I have Neeve SF, couple new tiles here, remote desktop, this is for my Workbench connection, and my Niagara supervisor graphics. Click on that, I'm presented with my login to Niagara. That's Neeve, that's how simple it is. Obviously there's a lot more features that we could go over. Feel free to reach out, schedule a time to go deeper with us.